There's one thing everyone realizes at some point. Everybody dies. Not only that, but also everything you create will fade away at some point. Which is what is going to happen to the Wii Shop soon. Yep, the Wii Shop will close its doors in 2019. And you can't add any more Wii points to your account at this point, so it's very likely that the shop is already unusable for you. There are several ways to handle the end of something you liked. One of them, for example, is to get very depressed and drink a shit ton of booze. Another one is to try to be happy that it happened instead of being overly sad over the fact that it ended. So let's go with that and let's celebrate the existence of the Wii Shop by talking about one of its exclusive games. Let's talk about Jet Rocket, a 3D platformer created by the developer Shinnen, a studio which is from Germany, just like me. I probably couldn't tell because I don't have any accent at all. Well, my friends, you better grab some popcorn because we're going to watch the whole introduction cutscene right now.
Hi, I'm Jett Rocket, Planetary Inspector. Here on my patrol hub, I look out for any threats to the planet. What's that?
Wow, that was something. Well, after all of that, you meet this dolphin. He's like, hey man, what's up? Well, you got attacked by those big evil robot dudes? That's pretty bad. They try to drain the energy from the planet and pollute everything with their emissions. Wow, this game's pretty political, I'll tell you that. Let's talk controls for a moment. You use the stick to move around and you press A to jump. Man, this is a pretty good review. What's nice is that you can move the camera around with the D-pad at least most of the time. There are some instances where it's fixed. To attack an enemy you have to use this roll attack, which you do by, well, shaking the Wiimote. As I'm the only person on this planet who enjoyed doing the same thing in Donkey Kong Country Returns, it really didn't bother me at all. I actually think it feels somewhat natural. But I know most people are not the biggest fan of using motion controls for these simple commands, which you could do just as well by, you know, pressing a button. You also have this dash down attack that automatically aims at a target close to you, which you do by jumping and shaking the Wiimote. And last but not least, you can use your jetpack by holding A after a jump. But you can't use it infinitely, you have to recharge the thing regularly on these stations. By shaking the Wiimote. I think the jetpack is a nice little idea. It isn't overpowered since your use of it is limited. It adds a tiny titsy little bit of resource management and decision making to the game, and it makes the exploration of the levels more fun, since you have more freedom in the way you traverse through them. Speaking of exploration, Jet Rocket isn't a collectathon in the likes of Banjo-Kazooie or Donkey Kong 64. Every level has only one exit you have to reach and that's it. But they give you room to explore offside the main path, even if it's not much in some levels. And you have to do that because you need to collect enough of the only collectible in the game, the solar cells. Do you get it? It's pretty smart. You see, there are only 3 worlds in the game, each one containing 4 levels. And in order to unlock worlds 2 and 3 you need a certain number of solar cells. The thing is that you can't just collect the same ones over and grind your way through the game. I actually tried that, and because I'm a moron, it took me a shockingly long time to realize that it didn't work. The game actually takes the highest number of cells you ever collected in each level and adds these numbers together, and that counts as the number of cells you got. I hope I explained that well. So you have to explore the levels and try to find as many of these things as you can, because I tell ya, you need a good amount of them to unlock the last world. I mean, like really a good amount. Seriously, like, fuck. The levels in the first world are actually pretty small, so it's not that hard to find all of them in here. But it does get harder later in the game. I deliberately used the word find instead of collect or get, because it sure isn't hard to find all the solar cells in the jet ski level, but getting all of them is a different story. Because level's pretty ass. Okay, I'm lying, it's actually pretty alright. I'm just not good at it and I always miss at least 3 cells in it. But I still wouldn't call the level good, it's just okay. And that describes my feelings towards all of the first 3 levels. After finishing them, I was pretty sure I wouldn't make a video about this game, but then I played the 4th and last level of the first world. Don't get me wrong, the level isn't amazing or anything like that, but I think it's very cool. First thing that makes this level better than the other 3 is the music. That is my kind of music, yeah. It gives the level this cool, atmospheric, slightly sleepy vibe. And I think just the fact that this level takes place at night makes it a bit more interesting. Nighttime levels are obviously a lot less common in platformers than daytime levels, so whenever I see one it just stands out more to me. Also I have to say, the scenery in the background here looks really nice. I mean, just look at the moon and the silhouettes from other islands in the distance. That's pretty nice. And even though the overall atmosphere is clearly my favorite thing about this level, I do like the level design here. At first you can just explore the area on the ground for a bit and try to find all the solar cells that are in there. It shouldn't take too long, it's not that big of an area. After that you have to make your way to the top of this mountain. From there you can use this paraglider to either get on top of the small islands, where you can find some solar cells, or on this metal box. After that you have to fulfill 2 small tasks, make your way up to the top of this tower and fight the mediocre boss of the level. I mean, yeah, the boss isn't great, but overall, really good level with a really nice atmosphere. And luckily, the increase in quality continues in the second world. The music is better, the levels are bigger and feel more complete and satisfying, and I just like the atmosphere more. But what I like most about World 2 is the variety. It hasn't variety in the sense that there are different gameplay elements in every level, like in Mario Galaxy for example. But there is variety in the way the levels are structured. Let's compare 2 of the levels here to give you an example of what I'm talking about. In the level The 3 Towers you have to lower 3 towers. That is some clever level naming. You do that by finding and pushing 3 buttons. And you can do that in any order you like. I mean, the level is really small and there's clearly one order that makes the most sense, but still. So basically you have 3 tasks in the small area you have to fulfill in order to complete the level. Let us take a look at the Icy Fortress next. Here you have to throw bombs in these 2 bowls to get rid of this glass barrier. After that you can jump on the small ship and from there you can reach the higher area of the level. Now you have to find 2 bowls and throw bombs in them again, and then you can go fight the mediocre boss. So basically you have the small area in which you have to fulfill 2 tasks in order to reach the next area, in which you also have to fulfill 2 tasks. And the other 2 levels of Worlds 2 are also structured differently, but I'm too lazy to talk about them now. So all in all, I would say that World 2 is pretty good. Not amazing, but good. But you know what's better? World 3. I think this is the part of the game where the atmosphere gets genuinely fantastic. The music is amazing, the sceneries in the background look really sweet, and I mean, just look at it. The game already looked pretty damn good before, especially for an old WiiWare title, but this is just beautiful. They should have given Jett Rocket some sort of standing animation though. The way he just stands there without any sort of movement is kinda creepy. But even apart from the visuals and the music, I think that World 3 is better than the first 2. Remember how I said that I like the variety in the level structure in World 2? I mean, that was like a minute ago, so I guess yeah. Well, World 3 doesn't really have that. The levels here are mostly pretty straightforward linear platforming challenges. But I feel that they are the best designed and most fun in the game. The last level is actually a really good example for all the things I like about this world. So let's just analyze that one. You start off the level by stepping on this glowing spot, which makes this platform appear. It has 4 arrows on it. By stepping on them, you move the platform around. This is a mechanic that was never used in the game before, so it's an example for variety. You can now either move to the left or the right side of the small maze. If you go to the right side, you can see some collectibles in this corner. But if you want to pick them up, you have to avoid this laser shooting robot. So you have a nice little risk and reward moment. After that you can get on the wall, jump on this pillar and see that there's a button on the other pillar. But your jetpack is empty and you can't make it there with a normal jump. Moments like this are actually kinda nice because they make you go, man, that sucks that my jetpack's empty. It gives you a bit more appreciation for this ability. Because oftentimes you just realize the importance of something when it's gone. And that's some wisdom right there, my friend. You just take that to heart. So you have to use the arrow platform to make it to the other side of the maze, where you can recharge your jetpack, and from here you can make it to the button, which opens this gate. Now you can walk through the open gate and get to this part, where you have to jump around these rotating platforms, while simultaneously avoiding the flying laser shooting robots, which is an example for a well-designed, fun platforming challenge. After you made your way through this part, you get on this pillar and realize that you somehow have to make this gear turn. So you look around and see that there's a button on a pillar behind you. It's pretty far away from you, but with the jetpack you can reach it. I feel that World 3 was a little bit better at utilizing that thing than the other two. But I guess the first level from it would be a much better example for this. Especially its last part, where you have to jump from tree to tree and have to completely empty your jetpack in order to make it to this platform. From here you can already see the exit, but you can't make it there without your jetpack. So you have to jump your way up these 3 pillars, avoid the chainsaw and fill the thing up. This whole part isn't super genius game design, but it does use that mechanic in a decent way. But now we're at the part of the video where we have to ask one question. Why am I talking about this game? Why am I making this video if I could spend that time doing other stuff like, I don't know, playing through Wind Waker for the millionth time or reading the Divine Comedy or something like that? I mean, it's just a solid little platformer you won't even be able to purchase really soon. Oh my god, it's actually 2019 already. Time just runs, it's insane. Well, the game's already gone then. I mean, some people have it on their Wii, I guess, but there's no way of getting jet rockets now, except for purchasing a console with the game on it. And it's no PT, so I guess it's doomed to be mostly forgotten over time. And maybe that's the reason why I was interested in talking about it. I guess people in general just like to talk about stuff that changed or is gone. And I mean, I don't really have an emotional connection to this game. I just think it's not a bad game and there are some parts in it I really like. And that's it. But I know that there have to be people who do have a connection to this game. It's kinda weird for me to think about this, but the Wii was the first console for some folks out there. And there must be someone who grew up with this game. There must be people who feel about this game the same way I feel about Bomberman 64, for example. And if they watch this video, maybe they think to themselves, wow, what a shitty video this was. But maybe, just maybe, they appreciate it. A little bit at least. So, bye.